Happy day to you. Glad to be with you. We've got a little discussion. We talked about today or tomorrow, which is more important. And it comes up for a variety of reasons because, one, we can't embrace today if we haven't closed yesterday. And we can't embrace tomorrow unless we fulfill today. So what I'm going to share with you is a couple things. Some of them are written, some of them are thoughts. But I thought it was significant because I have a little information I want to share with you as we're closing out the month of July, which is the month of perfecting. Not being perfect, but perfecting. What are the new things that we're going to do in the number 8, which is new beginning? So what behaviors, what mindset, what are we going to change? What have we practiced that is going to make us and be sustainable going into the month of August? So when we look at it, we talked earlier, we talked about it can't go. And we mentioned which is more important, today or tomorrow. Here's the thing, and I think I used the title today is which is more important. Now, there are different philosophies I'm going to read to you. Dr. Reginald Campbell shared with us. Today, you build up equity. Now, in reality, you have to do something to build equity, which is above the norm. Working is working. It's not building equity. Equity is when you are learning and you're gaining and you're applying something to your professional life, your personal life, or your economics that now will bring an additional value above what it was worth yesterday. So she tells us, she says, today you build up equity, time. It's one of the key things that she said, and this is from Dr. Reginald Campbell. She said, for your tomorrow, because if you don't have equity built up, you can't expect a harvest or success. What does that mean? Too many people are living without purpose. They're not driven. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They don't know how to do it. And at some point, today has to be important. If I'm still drowning from yesterday, I can embrace anything because they're going to be what I call them threads that you're going to get throughout your day and your evening, that you have to connect your needle of faith to be able to know how to knit your coat of many colors. So then the second thing she said, today you position yourself for a harvest. And so you don't get the harvest until you plant the harvest. You can't plant the harvest until you know what you want to plant and you have a space, which means there's some things in your life and our life that we need to let go of. They're old. They cannot regenerate us. They cannot renew us. It is like having an outhouse and it doesn't prepare me for a harvest. If you are looking to reap, then you're subject to the sower because the sower has the seeds. So which is more important, today or tomorrow? Because you want to be blessed, but have you positioned yourself to learn how to understand that all blessings are not financial? So she says, today you position yourself for a harvest. Number 3, today is an opportunity. What are you going to maximize? What are you going to work on you? Well, man, I work 10 hours. I work 12 hours. I'm tired. I want to go. You just lost a day. Because the average person right now in America is only making enough to survive, not enough to plant, not enough to extend beyond themselves. So then we say today is an opportunity to plant and nourish your seed that will bring a future harvest. You can't plan for tomorrow until you have handled today. So today and handling this moment and being able to take notes and reevaluate what you're doing. What are you doing as a couple? What are you doing as a person? What are you doing as an employee or an entrepreneur? What are you doing as a father? What are you doing as a mother? How effective you are will determine how effective your children will be and your grandchildren. Because if there's no foundation, I can guarantee you there's no future. So number 4 says today must be seeds for tomorrow. So then if I seize today and I maximize everything I do, then you should have some baskets left over in your life that tomorrow you can pick up and begin to take the seeds out of that basket, not just eat the fruit, but take the seeds out of that basket to build you a present and a future. It says, because tomorrow is not promised. So we don't have a guarantee. But if you're not there, then those that you love and those that you have tried to protect will have something to work with. It is hard to work with nothing, meaning seize the moment. I spoke to, I like to call him the great Daniel Neal Cohen, and I spoke with him and he sent me something that he and I had talked about. I don't know if many people have studied it or heard of it, but it is called the 6 thinking hats. The 6 thinking hats. And so I'm not going to go through it. You can Google it. You can look it up. I think it's significant because the 6 thinking hats are a hat of objective, emotions, caution. These are hats that sometimes you have to wear multiple times a day. If you're only one way, then you cannot regenerate or flex to what is important. So you have to adapt to the moment so you can continue to prosper and to continue to build your legacy. Yellow, optimistic, creative, and managerial. I'll say these to you again. Managerial, creative, optimist, caution, emotion, and objective. You ought to think and look at the 6 thinking hats. So then when you start, before you act, you can make a qualified decisions. I thought it was a very good thing. He reshared it with me. He and I had talked about it. But I want to share something else with you because I'm not going to hold you long. We technically have only been together 4 minutes. But what I want to share with you is which is most important. Because here's what happens to people. First of all, if you doubt, there's no reason to plant. If doubt is planted, people will plant doubt in you, in your mind, in your family. Because if you plant doubt, doubt is like a toxin. It continues to grow and fester. It can disturb people. If the soil has not been prepared, you have to prepare. If you've given yourself to everything and everybody, what do you have for yourself? So you have to prepare your soil. Make sure it has not been contaminated and make sure it is fertile to the seeds that you are planting. The next one, if you have lost hope, if you've lost hope, you have no direction. When a person loses hope, they're just there. They're no longer attached to time. Time is attached to purpose. Purpose is attached to destiny. When you lose hope, you don't see the need to do anything but be a victim. The next one, if dreams are stolen or shattered, people will do that because they are afraid of your progress. It can be family. It can be your neighbors. It can be kinfolk. It can be a multiplicity of people because people have a problem when you're focused and they don't know your plan. So the question becomes, are you self-made or man-made? That is something you have to look at. Are you self-made or man-made? Now I'm going to share something with you that is going to be a little shocking, but it is the truth. I call it the system. The system. You never educate people you plan to dominate. I'll say it again. When you look at the thing, which matters most? Which is more important? If you cannot face your reality, you cannot build for your future. If you allow people to take you off on the paths of illusions, imagination, hallucination, hypothetical thinking, you lose who you are. You lose your worth. You lose your value. So here's the thing. Like I say, if you allow people to plant doubt, then you cannot move forward because doubt is a toxin that will poison everything around you and everything about you. You have to prepare the soil. You have to know the seeds that you're sowing so you can know how much fertilizer and what type of fertilizer you're going to need. Some fertilization will burn the roots. So you have to do your homework. And you cannot allow people and their voices and their antics to contaminate you. So then what happens is, once again, I'm going to say this, then hope is lost. And when you don't have hope, you have no direction. When you don't have hope, you disattach from time because time is attached to purpose and purpose is attached to destiny. So when you lose hope, that means you don't plan on doing anything. You're sitting in the middle of a dysfunctional moment. So here's the thing. If your dreams are stolen and shattered, you have to ask yourself, where were you putting your energy? Self-made or man-made? Are you trusting God? Are you following his biblical principles? Here's what the system does, and I'll say this again. You never educate people you plan to dominate. There are some people that wake up that plan to create confusion in your life, in your family, in your culture, in your job, in whatever it is you're supposed to do, because their objective is, if you're at your best, I can't compete with you. So to keep you from being your best, I will distract you. And the first thing I want to do is make sure you're not educated and you don't have any knowledge or wisdom about what you're dealing with. So I'll say it again. You never educate people you plan to dominate, because there are literally people who want to dominate you because they lack the ability of this. And this is what you got to say. This is what I say when you lose hope. You have to keep yourself in a window and have the ability to have these two things: creative thinking and critical thinking. Creative thinking builds what's to come. Critical thinking keeps it rolling. Critical thinking is the engine so you can create your thinking. If other people are trying to stop you from educating and investing in yourself, this is why the form of manipulation is there. To get you to purchase rather than to build. To get you to buy rather than to invest. To get you to waste rather than to save. So yes, both are important, but tomorrow has to stand on today. And if there's nothing that you have invested, nothing that you have learned and earned to broaden your intellect and your intelligence, then tomorrow you will become somebody's fool. We've only been together 10 minutes. I've given you quite a bit, so you might have to rewind this, but I'm going to give you a little bit more. I'll say it again. Many are dominated because they lack the ability to have, for the writers, creative thinking along with critical thinking. Because there's some situations that's going to be created that you were not prepared for. And so you have to have the skill set of creative thinking. Some people will pick at you to fight you. Why? Let me say that again. Some people will pick with you to fight you. Why is that so? Why would that even matter? Because when you are picked at and picked on, you fall into fight or flight or survival or struggle. Not any of those four produce. I'll say it again. There are some people will pick a fight with you for you to see everything through survival and struggle, fight or flight. And so while you're in the bucket, as some people talk about crabs in the bucket or whatever, while you're fighting against yourself, you're not making progress. And they're able to steal your dreams and your ideas and succeed when you were still in the situation because you didn't have a shield of intellect and intelligence and spiritual insight and spiritual foresight to be aware of it. But here's what I do. I challenge you to find those people. And it's not a big circle. You have to find those people that will see you and help you find the opportunities in life. Not in a situation, but in life. Why? Because you don't just think your dream. You have to live your dream. Every day, you have to represent your business. Every day, you have to think your business. Every day, you have to think your freedom. Every day, you have to use critical thinking. You have to use creative thinking. It is just not when I go to work. Because most companies want you to go to work, listen to a whistle, listen to a bell, and so they never communicate with you. So it's shutting down your intellect and intelligence. But when you can get up and know that, Lord, I need critical thinking today, I need creative thinking, I need to function on my intellect and intelligence and not my emotions, not my struggle and not my survival and not what happened to me yesterday and not how they tried to hold me back. You will find the past because you will find people who will connect you to knowledge and wisdom that presents an understanding that you can move forward in a direction that eventually you will walk away and leave the noise. And as I get ready to close, be very careful of what you allow people to plant into you. I know we live in an era where people want to speak into your lives and say all these things. Everybody speaking to you are not speaking to you. Some people are speaking, saying what you want to hear, but actually trying to curse you. Well, ask me why. Because you think it's given when it's actually earned. The seed is already there. But if you don't see the value of earning it, then what's the use of receiving what you don't understand how to use? I'll let you unravel that one. So you got to be careful who you allow to plant into you and speak into your life. Everybody doesn't have your best interests at heart. And sometimes people try to befriend you to get your today's information so they can cripple your tomorrow. Think about it. Next, don't be afraid to struggle or fail. Those are the shoes of learning, is struggle and failure. So when you fail and things go wrong, and I have to tell myself this the same thing, there's a reason for it. Open your mind. Two of the things that I took out of here when I was planning notes, and thank Dr. Campbell and thank the great Daniel O'Neill Cohen for sharing information with me that I shared earlier. So I invite all of you to go like, share, and post and share with your friends because those are some critical things. But now I just want to get down to the nits and the gist of what I'm saying is don't be afraid to struggle and to fail because those are your shoes of learning. And if you can learn how not to become emotional in failure, and you can learn how to not become stagnant and struggle, you've won. Because once you get past the storm, the next thing out there is sunshine. But you can't embrace the sunshine if you still have a mind that you're stuck in a storm. All right? And I'm going to leave you with this. Purpose is often manifested in difficult times. You will find your purpose. What it does is it renews your strength for you to see what your purpose is, a purpose-driven life, and it shows you the steps to your destiny. So it's not going to come with the parade and the balloons and your friends and cheering you. It's going to come in wisdom and knowledge, and sometimes pieces have to be broken off for you to understand the intent and purpose. But don't you ever quit. Don't you ever give up. Don't you ever look back. You have way too much ahead of you to be fooling with things that couldn't be a part of you. I'll say it again. You have way too much ahead of you to be attached to things that were never really a part of you. Here's the thing I'll close you with and give you this. He prepares a table before you. He wants you to sit down because those that didn't believe in you, and the reason you feel like it's tough and you're not going to make it is because he wants to show them that he did it through you, that you were his vessel, and you didn't need their approval to be successful. I say that again. He prepares a table before you. And then what he does is when he starts to bring your enemies, because he wants them to see, and your struggle is a witness to your accomplishment. So then what happens? He sets you down at that table. And so when he sets you down at that table, the Bible talks about how he anoints you. And I'm going to give you this little secret. But here's what happens. When you were worrying, you lacked the shield of faith, which was your anointing. If you learn to trust the anointing that God has over you, that's more than just speaking in tongues and shouting. If you allow him, as Moses said, Lord, why would I go and you don't go? If you know that God is with you, calm down and know that his presence is with you. And so how does this work? Because I'm used to feeling him. And he says to them, I don't want you to feel me. I want you to know how important today is. And I want you to rest that there is no psychological, mental, economic weapon that can be formed against you, that I don't have the revelation to unravel, to allow it to become your footstool so you can rise, my brother and my sister. You can rise from brokenness to greatness. Just ask David. They even said that he grew great. It's there before you. But I had to learn this about 2 weeks ago. Don't worry. Rest in his anointing. You have enough experience. Don't look to speak. Don't look to be emotional, but know that you're planted like a tree by the rivers of water, and you shall not be moved. Because if God called you to it, he will knock on the doors and break down the things to make sure you get there. So I just wanted to say something to you. He prepares a table. So when you get there, here's the trick. It says he anoints your head with oil. But here's the kicker. Why are my enemies there? Because now they got to worry, not you. Today sets up tomorrow. Equally, they're both important, but tomorrow cannot even function without you at your best today. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you soon.